Yunus unable to be a caretaker. No end to persecution of minorities. Seeds of revolution give birth to hate. Is ISKCON the biggest threat to Bangladesh? Hasina's killer claims amid unrest. Is Bangladesh heading the Napak way?
ISKCON priest Sri Chinmoy Das had nobody to represent him in court today, not because nobody wants to fight his case, but because his lawyer, Raman Roy, was attacked on the 25th of November in Dhaka during a rally. Since then, he's in the ICU. One of his other lawyers, Regan Acharya, was also attacked and his chamber vandalized on the day Sri Chinmoy Das was produced in court. Sri Chinmoy's next hearing is on the 2nd of January 2025. Meanwhile, in her first reaction on what is happening in her country, former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's audio was released where she has hit out at Muhammad Yunus, calling him the mastermind of this entire chaos.
আসলে গণহত্যা করেছে তো ডক্টর ইউনুস তার মেটিকুলাসলি ডিজাইন মাস্টার মাইন্ড দ্বারা প্ল্যান করে সে করেছে এই গণহত্যার বিচার ওই তার সমন্বয়কারীরা এবং ইউনুস তারা তার মাস্টার মাইন্ড তাদেরই ঘটানো তাই লাশের পর লাশ ফেলেছে এমনকি আমাদের জিয়া রহমানের ছেলে যেটা লন্ডনে বসে আছে তার ইকরামা সেও কিন্তু বলেছে লাশের পর লাশ করে তাহলে সরকার পড়ে যাবে এটা তো তাদের কথা আর আমরা তো চাইনি লাশের পর লাশ করুন তারপর হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ খ্রিস্টান কাউকে তো বাদ দেয়নি প্রত্যেকে 11টা গির্জা ভেঙেছে মন্দির ভেঙেছে বুদ্ধ মঠ ভেঙেছে এবং হিন্দুরা যখন আন্দোলন করলো সেই ইসকনের লিডারকে গ্রেপ্তার করেছে এবং আওয়ামী লীগ অত্যাচার শুরু করেছে তাদের উপর এই মানে সংখ্যালঘুদের উপর এই অত্যাচার কিসের জন্য কেন তাদের উপর এইভাবে নির্মমভাবে তাদের অত্যাচার করা হচ্ছে এবং তাদের উপর হামলা করা হচ্ছে সেটাই তো প্রশ্ন
The Yunus administration, meanwhile, continues to pin the blame on India. Bangladesh summoned the Indian High Commissioner Pranay Verma over their Assistant High Commission premises in Agartala being breached.
This is something that we keep continuing talking about. We have such wide-ranging relationship, multifaceted relationship, and as I've said, you cannot reduce it to one issue or one agenda. We are working across so many issues, and we really want to build a positive, stable, constructive relationship moving forward. There are so many things we are doing. There are so many interdependencies we have, and we want to build on those interdependencies to mutual benefit. And we will keep ensuring that our cooperation benefits our two peoples. The number of positive developments that have taken place in our relationship in the last few months, we are willing to engage with the interim government of Bangladesh, and we remain interested in working with the government of Bangladesh to fulfill our shared aspirations for peace, security and development.
Bangladesh, remember, has suspended visa services in Agartala for now. Last week, Bangladesh immigration officials stopped 63 Bangladeshi ISKCON monks from crossing into India, even though several others were allowed to pass through.
बहुत ही शॉकिंग है। पहले तो हम लोग बहुत ही आशा कर रहे थे कि उनको बेल मिल जाएगी, लेकिन 1 महीने के बाद डेट देना ये भी बहुत बड़ा अन्याय है। हम ये भी देखते थे, कल मैंने रात को ही ट्वीट किया था, जो रेमन रॉय करके उनके जो एक एडवोकेट थे, उनको इतनी बुरी तरह से मारा उन्होंने घर में घुसकर, उनके घर को पूरा तहस नहस कर दिया कि आज वो अपनी जिंदगी और मौत के बीच वो अपनी जंग आईसीयू में लड़ रहे हैं। सबसे बड़ा तो टेंशन है कि हम लोग ये जो 9-10 दिन वो जेल में थे, वो बहुत ही दिक्कत में थे। हमने देखा कि किस तरह उनको जो प्रसाद और दवा देने के लिए 2 ब्रह्मचारी जाते थे, उनको भी गिरफ्तार करके हटा दिया। तो जब भी बांग्लादेश की जो मैं बात करते रहता हूँ निरंतर, तो वहाँ पर वो भी फील करते हैं कि जो वैष्णव क्लोथ में बाहर जाना, हिंदू का कोई भी अगर तिलक उलक लगा रहे हैं, वो बहुत डेंजरस हो चुका है। अलग अलग देश के अगर जो प्रमुख हैं वो लोग इसके ऊपर में बात करेंगे, विचार करेंगे, तो शायद बांग्लादेश इस स्थिति को बांग्लादेश के साथ में अगर डिस्कस किया जाएगा तो इसका हो सकता है कि कुछ समाधान निकल सकता है।
Now, with the growing violence against Hindu minorities in Bangladesh, remember, as you heard, ISKCON Kolkata has issued an urgent safety advisory for its monks and followers. It has urged them to take extreme precautions when stepping outside. Here's what has been recommended. ISKCON members should avoid wearing any distinctive symbols that may make them stand out in public. Basically, avoid wearing saffron robes and tilak on their foreheads. If they feel the need to wear saffron strings or tulsi strings, they should wear them in a manner that remains hidden inside their clothes and is not visible around their necks. Now, while the chorus for UN peacekeeping forces to be deployed rises, the Hindu minority issue echoed in the UK Parliament as well. MPs Preeti Patel and Barry Gardner condemned this violence. Listen in.
It's an important subject, and he's also raised the arrest of the ISKCON leader, and it's a place of worship I too am very familiar with, near his constituency. But Mr. Speaker, these are deep and long-standing ties between our two countries, and the Minister herself is right to point out that even though she's visited Bangladesh recently, as my right honourable friend, the member opposite, has said, the degree of escalation in the violence is deeply, deeply concerning. And what we are witnessing now is just uncontrolled violence in many quarters. And we are now watching with horror and shock as further violence is spread in Bangladesh. And all our thoughts in this House are most definitely with the diaspora community here and those who are affected in Bangladesh. These are deeply disturbing reports. The Minister herself mentioned the deadly attacks and the violence that took place during what is an auspicious period, the Durga Puja festival in 2021. So given the current instability in Bangladesh and since the departure of the former Prime Minister in August, this is a moment of deep concern.
So the question is, of course, when will this end? And also, are India-Bangladesh ties now heading towards the India-Canada way where there's no going back on the diplomatic tussle? Let's try and get a perspective on this entire issue. On the broadcast, I'm joined by Colonel Dinny. He is a security expert, defense expert. I'm also joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner to Bangladesh. Thank you very much to both of you for joining. Good evening and namaskar. Ambassador Veena Sikri, let me begin with you. This is, we have been talking about this. This is a rather concerning situation. It doesn't seem to end. But today, the Indian High Commissioner was summoned and he came out and he said, you know what, between the two countries, we should not reduce the relationship to one issue. How do we see that statement and how do we see the two countries now taking this issue forward?
Certainly since day one, since the 8th of August, which is the day when Professor Mohammad Yunus joined as chief advisor, our government has said that we are prepared to talk to you, we want to talk to you, we want to continue the relationship. We had a very dynamic, active relationship with the former government and we want to continue that. And that position remains. So clearly when our High Commissioner was called today, he spoke to the Foreign Affairs advisor and mentioned all of that. But I'm sure that they would have discussed all aspects of the situation. And I think while we are prepared to continue developing the bilateral ties, the economic and so on, this issue, the issue of the treatment of minorities in Bangladesh, is something that has gone beyond the normal situation in Bangladesh. I would say that I've never seen such a situation since 1971. Yes, there were attacks in 2021 and in 2001, and I know many of those situations were there, but those were of much shorter duration. I have not seen that here right since the 5th of August, since the day Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina left the country, the minorities have come under attack, and our Prime Minister had to mention it to Professor Mohammad Yunus, even in his initial message of congratulations, and the situation has just worsened over time. What is very worrying to me is that while the world is concerned, I mean that, as you said, British Parliament discussed it, President Trump spoke about the chaos in Bangladesh and the barbaric attacks on Hindus and Christians. We are all concerned about it, but in Bangladesh, this is absolutely beyond the pale of discussion. There is no mention about this in the media. Nobody is talking about it. Even the attacks on Chinmoy, Krishan Das, that is being talked about more in or almost entirely in the context of death of the lawyer. And what has happened with Chinmoy Krishan Das today, when he came up for his bail hearing, the very ordinary but most important liberty, fundamental right of having somebody to defend him legally was not given to him. His own two lawyers have been attacked and they are fighting for their lives in the hospital, and 116
Yes.
other lawyers have been charged. There was nobody to defend him. And the judge could have said, yes, under law, he's entitled to defense. So we will please get a lawyer tomorrow. We will continue. Then he has been sent to jail for 1 month. So, this question of completely preventing any discussion, the people there are not aware. They only see the Islamists going on the road calling
Yeah.
for killing every ISKCON member, killing every Hindu. And you have the desecration of the Indian flag. The flag is drawn on the ground and people are walking over it right, left, and center. So I think that we have to take a very serious view of it because the people of India are very concerned about it. You've seen in Assam, in Tripura, in West Bengal, in other
Yes.
places. And why is this happening?
Sure.
I think we have to take notice of that. But you're right that all relationships we are prepared to continue. And we are prepared to talk about this and any other aspect to take it forward.
Yeah, Colonel Dinny, when we talk about the kind of minority attacks that we are witnessing in Bangladesh, there is concern in India. There are voices that saying that, they should be brought here and that there have been certain instances where ISKCON monks and ISKCON members have been stopped by the Bangladeshi immigrant officers at the border, specifically at the Petrapol-Benapol border. In terms of the security situation that now arises, how should India really deal with it? How should India assess the situation and move forward with the kind of concerns that we have for Bangladeshi Hindus being persecuted there?
Ma'am, first and foremost, it's absolutely it's a very, very serious situation in which today what we see inside Bangladesh. And I strongly believe that this is not, as your heading was showing, any revolution. There's no revolution happening here. What I see it, and I'm sure Veena ma'am will definitely agree with me, that this is a manifestation of sustained radicalization over a period of time. It's not happened just 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. I think it's ever since 1971. Pakistan had a very clear plan that they will exploit the Islamists in Bangladesh to turn around, and a day will come when they will be against India. So it is not question of handling certain ISKCON monks itself. It is close to 1.8 crores of minorities are there, which includes Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and other people. You cannot get everybody to India. That's a repetition of what happened in 1971. You have to ensure that they are protected there. And unfortunately, what is happening today is the complete breakdown of police system in Bangladesh. And that is why I said it is a part of the radicalization which has happened, which actually has gone inside Pakistan security forces as well. And I will, I'll make a statement that even in the Bangladeshi armed forces, the radicalization is quite obvious, and it's been seen. Personally, I have also witnessed this during my tenure in with United Nations. I have interacted with many of them. So there is a shift in the psyche, the way they think. So that is what worries me, is that in a normal instance, when the police fails, you have the military on the street protecting the people. But here, if everybody is, or a majority of them is radicalized, I'm not saying 100% radicalization, but if majority of them are radicalized, now you imagine there is not even one lawyer who is there to protect Shridas in the court, to stand for him. So that shows the amount of the venom which these people carry in their hearts, and that is over a sustained period. So that is why I say that it is not we don't have easy solutions for it as of now. But I think going forward, we'll have to take some tough decisions as the days go by.
Colonel Dinny, one of the solutions that is being given is to deploy UN peacekeeping forces. How viable is that?
Is it for me?
Yes, Colonel Dinny, please go ahead. This is for you.
Okay. See, I don't think UN peacekeeping forces are deployed on such scenarios anywhere in the world. We have seen UN peacekeeping force deployed in African nations. I have myself been part of a UN mission in Congo. So I don't think it is that easy to have a peacekeeping force at this moment. But yes, definitely going forward, if the situation really goes out of hand, and with probably the support of US, especially Mr. Trump coming into power, we may. But that is a process in itself. I don't think that happening in anytime soon.
Okay. Ambassador Sikri, in terms of how Bangladesh has been singling out and blaming India for media exaggerated reports regarding these incidents, for saying that, India is spreading fake news about it. They also have their law minister saying that, India should know that this is not the Bangladesh of Sheikh Hasina and this is a new Bangladesh that you're looking at. What kind of a relationship do you now see between the two countries heading forward? This seems like Bangladesh being very adamant on having these strained ties.
No, you see, I think it is Bangladesh who has to realize that just throwing the issue of Sheikh Hasina at India all the time is not the answer. Rather, I would say that what has happened over these years, as Colonel Dini rightly said, that there's constant effort at Islamization, at radicalization. And to do that, they constantly use for the last 15 years the fact that Sheikh Hasina, Bharat Dalal, that she is doing whatever India wants her to do. But actually, I must say that Sheikh Hasina has always been a very strongly nationalist leader. She always wanted to do what is good for Bangladesh, and that is why she could achieve 6 to 8% growth rate for Bangladesh for the last decade and more. So it's not that at all. I think we're not talking about in terms of Sheikh Hasina or not Sheikh Hasina. We're talking about the present relationship between India and Bangladesh, and we are very prepared to talk about all issues, but we are very clear that this issue of the treatment of minorities is an important one. So many, more than 1 crore of people, you can't just think that, they can be treated like they will be burnt at the stake or something like that. And the question, first and foremost, is for the people of Bangladesh to know what is going on inside their country. I think it is not a question of media exaggeration. Otherwise, the British Parliament would not have been discussing it. President Trump would not have been giving a situation. The world community would not have been writing about it. The Bangladesh diaspora, the Indian diaspora, they would not be reacting the way they are. So I think the problem is very real, and the sooner it is recognized, the better it is. You cannot allow rallies in a country saying, kill every Hindu in sight. You cannot allow the army to attack the Khagrachari Buddhists, which has happened in the month of September. The army also was there in Chittagong when the soldiers were being attacked. They attacked the Hindus when the temples were being desecrated and the rallies were being held there. So I think we have to recognize that the minorities have made a very simple 8-point demand to the interim government, saying we want a law to protect minorities, we want a ministry for minorities, we want that those who have committed all these atrocities should be brought to book, justice should be done to us. People have lost their lives, they've been raped and lootings and killings. Professors have been forced to give up their jobs. School teachers have been forced to give up their jobs. It's still continuing. So this kind of isolation of letting people, pushing them out of their jobs, even journalists have lost their jobs. Not only minority, but anybody who was seen either to be a minority or perceived as being pro Sheikh Hasina. Hundreds of them, their press accreditation has been removed, hundreds have been thrown into jail, they've been charged with murder. So I think that the reality of all of this is not known within Bangladesh, because the Bangladesh media is completely a controlled media, more controlled a media than at any other time that I have seen it. So I think the first thing is for the people of Bangladesh to realize what is going on. And if the world and India speaks to them clearly and unequivocally, then they will be beginning to realize. Right now, they're trying to brush it off by saying exaggeration, social media. This is not real. But you see visuals. When the Indian flag is desecrated, there are visuals. When people are marching the streets of Dhaka saying kill every Hindu, there are visuals of that. When the lawyer is being attacked in his chamber and now he's fighting for his life in the ICU, there are visuals of that. And it is being completely denied. It's not being mentioned in the Bangladesh media. So how can you have a dialogue when the effort of the interim government is to pretend that nothing has happened? It's a surreal situation.
Yeah, and of course, action needs to be taken soon. And let's hope peace prevails soon and the minorities in Bangladesh are protected and their safety is ensured by the Yunus administration. I'll wrap it up here. Ambassador Veena Sikri, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your perspective.